Hello everyone, this is Cookies. I've got, I think, turn 72 of EA Abysia. We've got, I think, three turns to do today, so looking forward to it. We'll see how far we get. Go ahead and do a little bit of Auspex, a little bit of summoning, and we've got a small number of battles. What's happened now is three of the teams are winning pretty decisively in their wars against other teams. And then only two of the teams are in a little bit more of a stalemated situation. So we're starting to see fewer battles. Also, some of the wars have outrun our scouting network. So we're just not catching as much either. But we start off, we have a mill cart doing a little point buffing. Alright. And this guy, Smell Cart, is doing Hell Power. Hell Power is a really interesting spell. It gives you a lot of stat bonuses. It horror marks you, and it also pulls horrors onto the map. Now, he's got pretty good MR, at 28 MR. He's got a Bloodthorn to help with reinvigoration and life drain. He's got regen. He's got our Bless. And he's got a Flesh Eater to stay on the battlefield. And Milk Carts are one of the few units that can legitimately just Hell Power and deal with it. And here we've got the Air Army. So we've got a couple of Mitsushu. We've got some, I guess, some little troops running forward. We've got some longbows. It's not much, but it's what Ur's got left at this point. And it looks like he's set to advance and cast. At least until he goes berserk. And you see here we've got one of our first horrors showing up. And the thing with horrors is almost all of them have a fear effect because they're really scary. It's in their name. And the Smell Cart also has a fear effect, so these Enkidu are just putting up with the most frightening battle. Got another one showing up here. Also with fear, has Mind Blast and a magic stinger death poison thing. Another one showing up. Got a float cat here. A couple of them. And they are independent, so they'll also attack the mill cart. So the Enkidu have routed. Now the other piece of this is the mill cart has to deal with the horrors that have been summoned if he wants to stay on the field. A lot of Hell Power bombs, they'll have some sort of shell of troops around them, and then they're just trying to summon as many horrors onto the map. And then maybe the mage has a ring of returning and it goes home when it gets hit. But a mill cart can legitimately just kill everything. Might not have needed the Hell Power, but it is really fun. Oh, we got a couple more show up. Alright, but the battle's over. So that was this. This was a magic phase attack to clear the cap PD and whatever was sitting there. So that is successful in a sense. I don't know what's happening. Oh. I guess we get hit by flames from the sky. Okay. We lose a few things. We lose a couple of Sayer. We lose a few Long Dead, a couple of Icarids, 4 Dawn Guard. It's not worth the fire gems. And then, let's see, down here we have a Lizard Shaman killed. And then we have a few battles, including some of the ones that we've caught. This looks like a scout ping in Zimria. We got Arco attacking Marverni. So we've got a whole bunch of Jade Maidens, we've got a whole bunch of Wind Riders, we've got Draconians, we've even got these Hounds of Twilight, which have a fear of 5, and a whole bunch of magic attacks. This also has Stop the Undead, which paralyzes undead with an MR check. Then a Serpent Tail with a strong poison. Unfortunately, for our entertainment, it's only 1 PD and a few boars. And 2 of them get stolen. In Wesh, we have Kaelasa attacking. A band of Sacreds killing some PD. Should not be a serious challenge. Just nothing left in the tank, aside for our Zabalba. So that was here. We lose 5 Sacreds. We kill some troops that might have been foreign recruiting. And then we go after the Independents in the Void. We've brought Golems, we've brought Sacreds. It's a whole Kaelasa army. Not much is here, though, and they don't have a commander. Interestingly, Illwinter has chosen these Grey Knights and these ethereal beings. They're supposed to be from the astral realms. They've got Void Sanity. Unfortunately, they're not mindless, and the astral realm is Magic 5 and it horror marks now. So I think their leaders just got killed by horrors over the course of the game, and then when we finally showed up, they just ran away. So I don't know if that's intended by Illwinter, but yeah, it's not a very threatening garrison. I'll just put it that way. Alright, then we got Zabalba attacking Hinnom in Hinwood. And it looks like just a little scorpion raid, but it runs into a bunch of Long Dead. So alright, so we won that. Then in Janumia, we've got Hinnom attacking this is Tricked Out Civic. This is that lumber construct. He's just going to go off and kill 1 PD. Then we've got Silver Valley. We've got Kaelasa attacking. So this is one of the stolen She-Lord thugs with a fair amount of gear. Going up against a fair amount of PD. The buff script was Barkskin Blessing, I guess Animate Tree. Maybe it was missing a gem. A lot of these mirror images disappearing. But gets the route just in time and then puts up Shroud of Bewilderment. Yeah, so probably was just missing a gem there. Then we've got Lanka going after Muspelheim. So this is the Winds of Death, Raksharaja. No Ring of Returning or anything, so this one's just willing to stick it out. It's fairly significant Muspelheim army. We've got Bone Fiends, a summon that I like, I think, a lot more than other players. We've got pretty high attack, okay damage. I think it's particularly okay in EA, maybe MA as well. You know, perfect morale, fights underground, has Spirit Sight, only costs a few Blood Slaves. So I think it's a cheap, nice early game summon. We got some Glossos, the new Sacred. some Fey Footmen, so a bunch of summons, a bunch of giants. They've got their... Oh, I thought one of them was blessed. Here we go. Their regen, poison res, shock res, air shield, bless. Then we've got a couple of mages back here. Oh, so he's just doing Winds of Death Retreat. Alright. So probably need like a couple of giants on attack rear doing like Gift of Flight or something on them to try and catch that. You'd probably still eat a Wind of Death, but you might kill the caster. It kills a few things. A fair number of the wolves, which might actually help that army retain some morale. Got another Melkart. This one's got Bloodstone armor for the regen side of things. And we've got some bats. Oh. So he did manage to bless himself and then somehow also got off Fire Shield. And because he got off both of those, he should be fine. If the Fire Shield hadn't gone off, it could start getting a little sketch. Because he might start fatiguing out a bit. But yeah. Happy Melkart. Lots of stuff to eat. And then we've got Illidar. We've got a little Enkidu Reaver raiding squad, but it finds a bunch of long dead. There we go. All right. That was here. Then in Andoria, we've got Zabalba attacking Hinnom. Okay. And then we've got Femoria attacking Rus. So we've got Ninian with a Carmine Cleaver, and we've got a bunch of Numidian warriors. They should do just fine. Then add Indron. We've got Hinnom storming a fort. This is I think like a little firestorm squad. These guys have some built-in fire res. We've got some Avite stuff, but he might also just be doing evocation magic. You know, we got some adventurers back here. Oh, no, we are doing Firestorm. I think a lot of these Avites, they're actually decent Avites. We're just kind of maybe hoping to get them off the payroll a bit, but, you know, they've got a little bit of fire res, so they might survive. Same thing with the Draconians. Draconians, we don't need to get off the payroll, but a flying component to this is pretty smart. And so we end up taking this. We lose a few things, but take the fort, which is good. And then subterranean goblins. Interesting. I'm not sure if I fully read that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and forge a winged helmet this turn. I'm trying to break into some of the higher magic, and I think to truly do that, I need a Ring of Wizardry. But the main thing is Kaelasa is starting to set up a wish factory in Nexus. So we're finally getting around to doing that. We haven't done that yet. So being able to do a little bit of wishing sounds nice. And then we've got Kaelasa going on TNN. So that fort's cracked. Hopefully we take that. And then we've got one more fort over here in Zoglia that we need to take, and then TNN's done, unless they share forts down there. Which I think would only hurt Zabalba at this point. And then we've got the fort under siege, so no more like foreign wreck out of and we can work on sieging down the cap. And then Zabalba still has this large army. They've got this one last army that they've summoned up that we're going to have to try and deal with. It's going to take a proper army from us. If we manage to defeat it, we can probably seize the rest of Zabalba's cave. And then send them on their way out of the game so that they don't have to play a losing position anymore and they can go join a new game where maybe they've got better luck, more excitement, you know, they can have some more fun. I don't particularly like dragging out wars against players in bad positions because most players don't find that fun. A few players are weird and enjoy small positions like that. Like, I think I'm one of those players, but I don't think that's the majority, so I don't like dragging out wars against small players. All right, so, and also we have some time incentive, generally speaking. So we see over here, you know, Ulm has taken Machaca, Pangea and Tianchi are drawing ever closer to Ubar. Sauromatia's home region is under threat a little bit. And so this team's dying reasonably quickly. We see Lanka's made tremendous progress. This is what we're more concerned about. So, you know, Satis might have Well of Misery up, but, you know, all these forts are under siege. I mean, we've got a few Macone forts, but, you know, Macone is owned by Micklin. I mean, this faction's pretty much dead as well. We see them clearing up the middle region as well. And so what I'd like to see is I'd like to see us wrap up this Zabalba war reasonably quickly so that we can reorient our armies from back here over to the middle of the map. And we can get in position for maybe fighting the rest of the map, maybe pushing for thrones. But we've got this area, so I think now it can make sense to just kind of do a general push across the map. Remember, this is King of the Hill, so we only have to get kind of like halfway to have 6 thrones. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we only need get about half the middle of the map to go ahead and end the game. So I think it would make sense for us after we finish this team to go ahead and potentially end those naps and just go ahead and go for it, see what happens. So we can think about doing that. You know, if we want to be a little diplomatic about it, we could leave this team alone because they've got their own 1v1 and we don't necessarily have to backstab them. We could go try to get another Lanka throne like this one over here. In which case, you know, maybe we could declare war on the Baratos team and probably the Pangea team, I think would make sense since they're almost done with this war. And so we can start pushing into them. And if we take these 4 thrones, we win the game. We don't need to do anything down here unless they want to do stuff, you know, fight us. Additionally, we've gotten some more infrastructure down here. So we got a few Hinnom forts. We've got Kaelasa on both these thrones. So Hinnom's got a few different places he can summon. I think we set him up here mostly in Jahira, so he can help guard this southern region. We got Kaelasa set up on the Bulwark, which is such a great named province at this point, because it really is the Bulwark. It's also our gateway to Nexus thing. So if we lose it, people are going to be able to get all over our back lines. So this will always require a large garrison. Another thing that we're doing is we're planning to have me relinquish my capital of Abysia to Kaelasa, and Kaelasa is going to create a nexus point there. And what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to use that nexus point with one that I think Kaelasa is going to end up putting here. We'll see it over the next couple of turns. And I'll be able to send new warlocks straight from here to our new conquered region, and I can start blood hunting that without traveling all the way around. So that'll save a tremendous amount of time. And hell, even I could contribute to fighting then a little bit. I could send some mages to fight. I could summon up some stuff and send it over. And that could be fun too. Traveling through the Nexus does, you do risk horror marks doing that, but I think it's plenty worth it to go ahead and make that push. I do expect them to try and put up Astral Corruption again when we do in that nap, but I will wait to do it myself until Zabulba's dead, and just give our guys a little bit of time to consolidate Kirby and Zan. So, but yeah, other than that, in terms of foraging, we're foraging a fair amount this turn. You can take a look at all the stuff we're foraging. We're doing some Sabbath gear, and we're sending that to Kaelasa, so he has the option of having both a communion and a Sabbath in the same battle. I think would be an okay surprise for Kaelasa to pull out of their bag of tricks. But otherwise, it's a lot of the same sort of stuff, just really nice late game stuff. Armors, helmets, the odd weapon for thugs. Boosters, temporary gem gens, penetration gear. So just sending a lot of that stuff out. And then in terms of what we are sending out, again, you'll have to look at what I was forging last turn. Hopefully I showed it to be able to see, but we're kind of like, I think you can only send 20 or 30 things per turn. So we're kind of maxing that out every turn almost. But yeah, I think that's it for this turn. All right, so, sorry, an ambulance drove by. And we're at about 22 minutes. But we haven't really had a signature battle yet, so I might push this one longer and see if we get a nice battle next turn in turn 73. Okay, so I've got turn 73 pulled up. We've got air gems, water gems, astral gems coming in from Hinnom and Kaelasa to help with foraging. We do a little bit of site searching, we don't find much. Sorry, just wanted to center this back on the map, just so I don't spawn in the cave every single turn. Alright, and we've got some blood hunting going. We gave away Earth Sword Desert to Hinnom. We do have a few battles. Let's go ahead and see if we got a nice big one. Looks like we've got a raid against some PD. Alright. We've got Lake Fortune. Tricked out Civic. Going after some more underwater indies. Okay. And then we've got Kratos. Battle here. We've got a Melkart. This is the same Melkart we saw last turn. I think he's just going to beat up some Barbarian PD and Wolves. Does get off Fire Shield. That just helps so much for clearing all this out faster. And actually, the Barbarians might have actually killed him without the Fire Shield. Almost certainly would have, so this was actually a little bit more dangerous than it looked. They were doing a lot of damage. Goodness. Alright, we got Marverni. This is a gigantic army. It does not run into anything, unfortunately. But he's got the sort of Algolmare, but it gives the whole army the luck buff. Also has his Pretender there with a cornucopia. Of course, everyone is starving, because why wouldn't they be? He's got the Ankh. He's got the for life after death. He's got the cornucopia. I guess I can show that. We've got pen gear, we've got water gems, we've got temporary gem gens, we've got boosters, we got more pen gear on this druid here. We have so many scouts with so many supply items just included in the control group. They're also starving. We got Sequani stargazers. I'm assuming they're starving. Another option is there is a remote disease spell, which the Vanheim team might be casting on this army. And actually, that's what I'm starting to think it is. Because I think all these mages are actually feeding this army, but a lot of them are just straight up diseased, so I think that's what it is. Alright. So that is 1,200 boars, a few hundred troops, 52 boar warriors, and another like 80 or 90 mages. It's insane. 50, 68, 78, 88. Yeah, it might be right around 100 mages, actually. I do not do math as quick as I used to in my younger years. Alright, we got Van Breck. We've got a She-Lord. We've got one of these Kalasa armies rolling out. Not running into anything. Loses to Ngiri. Probably to, yeah, to friendly fire from... I'm not sure what. I'm a little bit curious, but I also don't care that much. And alright, we've got the storming of TNN. So this is everything TNN's got left. He's gonna spend his nature gems on Kushi. He's got wolves, he's got his fort garrison, he's pulled in his mages. He's got some RP boosters on some of them. He's got a few thugs, including one with elemental armor, which we would love to get our hands on. Yeah. And then, yeah, some research boosters. So we'll see how we do. Also, the boar is here. Or 7 and 4. What did it do? Personal region, personal stone skin, blade one. Alright, we can see the tremendous amount of lightning doing some work. Okay, so Kalasa takes TNN, loses a Guru, 17 Yavanas, 7 Yakas. Not a big deal. All of these are just gold sacreds. They aren't even gem sacreds. He can replace them as long as he's got income. Guru is not a big deal, and we've killed the what should be the last TNN army. And then, yeah, a couple of events. In terms of what's going on this turn, we're Hanom's mostly just continuing to move towards Zabalba, just kind of consolidating stuff. I guess this army started to move up towards but I think it'll come back. Maybe he was trying to do a little bit of a bait and switch. But otherwise, not a heck of a lot going on that's any different from last turn. We have not yet broken down into the underground. We do have a brigand leader who's causing problems here, creating a bunch of unrest. And I'm working on trying to get Lapintha from Kirby and Kepris from Kirby. And then in terms of our foraging and casting this turn, this is our casting, nothing crazy. For the foraging, a lot of the same, but you can take a look if you want. All right, and then what we're sending out this turn. Okay, and otherwise this is a pretty short turn. We do see that Scorpion Cracks is under siege now by TNG. So that is something to be on the lookout for. We do know that Ulm has a conjuration discount site now that I'm not sure if Machuca ever really used. And then this team is starting to stale because they just don't have much left, and Lanka's and Baratos is kind of overwhelming them. And then we've got our big boar army here on Zimria. So I think this was pretty short. We still haven't had a big battle for turn 73. So I'll go ahead and go to turn 74. Okay, so I've got turn 74 pulled up. We do find a Skywatch Tower. I think that's one air gem. We finally dipped down into the caves. We've got a Masters of Thame. Now the Masters of Thame still works as a regular Thame, which is the little blood dagger. You just pay the extra pearls for the, I guess, like the Sabbath Master part of it. It's like polluting a communion item, I guess. And then we've got a Firebrand, Ring of Regen, so this guy's got lots of regen on him. Not fighting much though, just a few bats. Okay. And then we lose a Jaguar Tribe Priest to a lesser horror. We give Abysia to Kaelasa. That's part of the plan that we were talking about earlier in the episode. And Lapintha has been given to us. Then in Move Forth, Tricked Out Civic also dips into the caves. He finds some Cynocephalians. Should be fine here. He's got a limp though. They're going to have to show up to him. Alright. So Tricked Out Civic takes that one. And we've got a battle in Genport. So the Arco army fights 1 PD. I don't think we need to care about that. Manages to lose a Draconian, a Jade Maiden, and 2 Wind Riders to it. I think to Gifts from Heaven. In Zimria. Okay. So this is going to be our signature battle for this episode. We've got the giant boar army. And then from Vanheim, we have a line of Draconians, followed by a line of Vanheers, followed by a line of Storm Demons. Then a fair number of mages and thugs, I'm sure. In terms of what the mages are doing, we've got a number of arch wizards here. We have air and astral. And so they're going to bring all sorts of astral magic, it looks like. We've got a lot of pearls on them. Potentially, I'm wondering if they're trying to do a big master and slave play. We've got some more arch wizards, air gems, fire gems, We got Azure mages for water magic, probably doing resist buffs. And I will try to take a look through a lot of these commanders to just kind of see what they cast. There's a lot of Stargazers. I don't know if they just planned a magic duel. They might. So I might stop it after one round just to see if anything happened with that. And then we have a whole bunch of Vanadrots. These are a lot of cap only, slow to recruit mages. They've got boosters, they've got weapons, they've got MR gear, they've got gems, so probably a lot of big magic out of them, and then a whole pile of thugs, a lot of them with horror helmets. So a pretty elite Vanheim army. It just looks minuscule in the face of this Marverni army. So I'll go ahead and let it play, and we'll see how it goes. I will probably stop it at round one just to see if there was magic dueling that went off. Alright, let's take a quick look. Do those Marverni mages use their pearls? Not yet. Oh, but they're about to. Okay, so I'll stop it at round two. We have Storm, Twilight, and Grip of Winter. Alright. So in terms of the magic duels, it looks like... I don't know, maybe they just cast other stuff? I did kind of catch it at a weird point. We've got Grip of Winter, Wrathful Skies, and Relief. I thought we were doing some magic duel here. But all these Archwizards are still here, I think. Although a couple of them... I think a couple of the ones with all the pearls might be gone now. Oh, did it go down here? Oh, they became white mages because there was life after death. Alright. And then one of those... Also, I think one of them got magic duel twice and lost. Okay. So I'll go ahead and let the battle play out from here. Alright. So as we can see, pretty decisive Marverni victory. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stuff that got cast. Or it'll glitch out and not tell us. Might have to reload this and go to like turn 5 or so. Let's see. Where was that? I think that was Zimria here. So yeah, Storm, Grip of Winter, Wrathful Skies, Relief, and Twilight. We got Heat from Hell. Alright, let's see if we can see what they cast now. We got Will of the Fates, Heat from Hell, also Heat from Hell, Power of the Spheres. Let's check this guy. We've got some Falling Frost. Yeah, these logs sometimes can really not be very reliable. Whole bunches of mages. Let's see about some of these Vanadrots. Got Reinvigoration, Mass Confusion, some Charm, Air Elementals. We can also try inspecting some of the troops. We see here Army of Mist out from a Vanadrot. Yeah, let's take a look at some of the troops. This is not going well. We do get Twilight, Grip of Winter, Wrathful Skies, Relief, and Heat from Hell. The Boar, yeah, we aren't going to see. Okay, so in terms of some of the troops, let's take a look. We can see Army Regen has come out. Invulnerability comes from the Awakened Tattoos. We've got Shock Res, Fire Res, Cold Res, and Poison Res, so we got all the major like Fens out. We've got the Lucky from the artifact. +4 MR is anti-magic. We've got a no natural protection buff, which is interesting. I can understand that because Oaken Army can lead to getting abused by Firestorm. Marble Army can have you fall prey to Grip of Winter, and Army of Bronze and stuff like that can have you fall prey to Wrathful Skies. So I think he just opted not to bother, so he could at least keep his army awake. And then we've got some Twist Fate spam coming out. I don't know that it was army-wide. It looks like it was. So we had Will of the Fates. We've got Battle Fury on the animals. We've got Army of Mist. A lot of these animals, a lot of this stuff has mist form. Larger is from the Bless, I believe. Yeah. Oh, and Invulnerability is also from the Bless. Okay, so that, I guess that works with the tattoos. There's a little bit of overlap there. And then we've got Attack Skill, which is the Battle Fury. Yeah, so Bless bonus, Battle Fury, and then for Strength, we've got Enlarged, but we did not get the Blood spell for army-wide Strength. So that's what we're looking at from the Marverni side, I think. For the most part, there might be some more point buffs in there. From Vanheim's side, looks like Army of Mist, a lot of Blur. I don't know that he got it on everyone. Mass Twist Fate. We've got a lot of the same buffs. I think this is probably there's a blood spell that gives 10 poison resist. I think he cast that to get up. Although Draconians might just have 15. Okay, so he didn't do any poison resist, which is brave against Marverni. But we do have some shock res, fire res, cold res. Their bless is unholy weapons, blood surge, righteous wrath, and larger. And then we've got twist fate, we've got blurred, we've got mist form, a little bit of body ethereal spam, but maybe not quite as good buff coverage. Is there still a Vanheim alive? Well, we've got a storm demon, I guess. So we got a couple of fins that I think came out. I think all the Vanheims died. I don't know that flying into the back. I mean, I understand hoping to kill the mages, but I think you just prioritize targeting onto them. I think what you want to do is you want to have a line and you want to put a pal, and then hopefully the communion mages tire out like spamming at wolves. Maybe like Army of Phantasms or whatever. You know, you generate distraction chaff that way. I think Fields of the Dead, is that another one? Or something like that. Looks like we've got a little bit of floating, but I don't know that that was army-wide. Oh, it was to avoid earthquake. A little bit of moss body spam, but yeah, it looks like, generally speaking, Marverni put out better buffs. And the thugs were just not, they weren't so buffed that they were immune to the boars. The boars have pretty high attack, especially with the Battle Fury stuff. So they've got 15 attack, 18 damage gore. With enough hits, they will punch through stuff. Now, it's only one per square, so elves can potentially dodge them for days. But these elves are also not immune to Wrathful Skies. So they don't have the shock res gear to set under Wrathful forever. So yeah, I think some of the elves just started falling prey to Wrathful Skies probably. And then maybe the boars managed to harass down an elf or two. I mean, this guy's at 25 defense. Like the boar is going to have a hard time hitting him, but you know, with enough boars, you'll eventually hit. You know, and the Wrathful Skies combined with Guest from Heaven and Enslaved Mind Spam just eventually whittles down the thugs. So, all right. So this Vanheim army gets trashed. Loses 8 arch wizards, I think 5 Vanadrots, 5 Jarls, a bunch of other mages. Loses 60 Storm Demons, 58 Vanheims, 45 Draconians. On the Marverni side, he loses 9 Soquani Stargazers, loses a few scouts. He's got a bunch of scouts. I think maybe there was some assassin spam going on. And then also loses an Elder Druid, a Druid, and a Crystal Sorceress, along with 250 of his 1400 Great Boars. And then, I mean, these are remarkably round numbers. And then loses a smattering of other stuff, gains a Storm Drake and a couple of Storm Demons. So Marverni takes more casualties, but also his army was 6 times larger. So he could afford to take 1.5 times the size of the Vanheim army in casualties. So after Zimriat, we've got Glowing Caverns. We've got another Melkart dipping down into the underground. So, and these are mostly raids on the unforded cave provinces in Sebulba's domain. Break the second soul. I don't even know what that does, but I mean, you can see what a buffed up Melkart looks like. Pretty scary, honestly. This one's got Gin Blood. So it's got magic power, which is kind of cool. Although we're probably fighting in Drain. Alright. And then we've got 3 fort storms. So Lanka storming Summerlands. I don't think there's probably anything in here. Yeah, not much. The wolves are going to disappear because they're magic beings. And then Shambolic. We've got Micklin storming a fort. This is his giant army. There is a Sitis army here. He's got his Pretender. You know, we've got some Hoberg crossbows. We've got some elite warriors, Shade Beast, but this is a very kind of like early mid-game army in terms of composition. I mean, he's putting up darkness, but darkness doesn't impact this Micklin army. It's got Ocelotls, they've got Spirit Sight. The Dark Vines have Spirit, or are blind, they don't care. We got some Devils who have Spirit Sight, Long Dead who have Spirit Sight. Like, this Micklin army does not care about darkness. Yeah, so we get Heat from Hell, we get Hell, we get Ravenous Swarm, we get Relief. I suppose there was a battle enchantment that flashed really quickly. So yeah, darkness. And then we have Howl pop up and then immediately go down. Alright. So Micklin loses 6 priests. Maybe burned out a Sabbath, a few monster toads, a couple of Ocelotls, a couple of devils, but kills this whole army. The Devourer scores 2 kills before going down. The Elite Warriors, 100 of them die. They score 14 kills. So just a late game army killing like a mid game army at this point, because Sitis has been so worn down. In Zemria, we've got this big Marverni stack going after Vanheim. Okay, so relief, we get a bunch of rocks dropped. 6 Great Boars die, but otherwise a couple of Jarls get killed. One of our guys, oh, we have a Warlock defend himself from a rat. We get some gold and a red scale mail. We lose some blood slaves, which is sad. And we have a Warlock killed by a Fiend of Darkness, because he went rogue, trying to summon shit on his own. We have a few scouts patrolled out. We patrol out a scout. Okay. So, I mean, things are going pretty good up here. We've got this last citadel we need to take care of from Zabalba that's probably getting blood hunted. In terms of enemy possessions on their overland area. And then we've got the capital of Ur that we need to take care of. Kalos has moved on to Zoglia. He's cracked that, so he's going to work on that. And we've got the full Hinnom army getting ready to roll on downstairs and fight Zabalba. And then otherwise, I'm continuing to kind of send out different hunting parties. Just got the priest here from Kalasa, so we should get Capres or Kepis next turn. For blood hunting, we're trying to spin up more blood hunting. In terms of what we're sending, or I guess we're casting this, we're foraging this. I don't think too much is different. I think this is probably going to be our last turn of Slave Hearts, though. Kalasa, I think, has enough to do what they wanted to do. But also, we want to start slinging more blood to Hinnom. Because Hinnom's gonna... One, it would be nice if they had a second army with more Seir and Shed. But two, they're also... they're trying to do the cool Hinnom thing, and they want to get Grigori. And we want to support that. So we want them to get Grigori. So in turning off, you know, each of these is like 15 blood slaves. So we're going to turn that off after this turn, probably. All right, and then what we're sending out this turn, I mean, this is some of it, I guess. So you can kind of see what's getting sent out and to whom for some of it. And then otherwise, just continuing to see stuff happening. Scorpion Cracks is cracked. Midria is cracked. So you see the Ulm team making rapid progress through the Sarmatia team. The Lanka team also making pretty rapid progress through the Muspelheim team. We've got the large Baratos army kind of hanging out in an area where it could still come help in the middle. So it's not fully committing to attacking this. And we see this Marverni army has taken Zemria and will presumably start trying to retake these forts from Arco and Rus. So I think that's it for this turn. And we're at near an hour. We did finally get a signature battle. So I think we're good to stop here for turn 74. And I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.